Hi there, welcome to my channel, crewvn.com.
Alright, let's talk about the stern section, which is basically the structure at the rear of the ship. This part includes reinforcements for stability and watertight compartments for, functionality. The main components here are bulkheads, frames, and deck beams. These all work together to support the hull and make sure the ship stays water resistant. Oh, and the stern frames, which are components numbered 46 to 56, provide the shape and support that the rear of the vessel really needs. Moving on to the midsection, this is actually the central part of the ship. It includes the engine room, cargo holds, and of course, some pretty vital structural reinforcements. You'll find features like bulkheads, transverse beams, and longitudinal frames. Those are components numbered 6 to 39 that help distribute forces and support the ship's overall structure. And yeah, watertight compartments are super important here to ensure the ship's stability and safety. Now, for the bow section, this part focuses on the ship's forward-facing end. It includes some critical components like the bow frames and the stem post, which are really important for structural integrity and resistance to waves. The parts numbered 34 to 60, including the stem and bow frames, are key for maintaining the shape and strength of the vessel's front part. Alright, let's talk about the key components and functions of traditional warships. First, we've got the frames, which form the skeleton of the ship and provide the necessary internal support. Then there are the bulkheads. These are vertical partitions that divide the ship into compartments, which, really help with structural integrity and water tightness. Next up are the deck beams. These horizontal beams support the deck and help distribute weight more evenly. We also have longitudinal and transverse reinforcements. These beams run along the ship's length and width, giving it stability and strength. And don't forget the stern and bow frames, which are structural reinforcements at the rear and front of the ship, making sure the shape and load bearing are just right. All of these elements together highlight the complexity of old-style warships, especially when it comes to their strength, stability, and durability in battle conditions. This is a list of shipbuilding terminology, specifically related to the structure of a warship. It includes various parts of the ship, both structural and functional, used in construction and engineering. So here's an overview of the key terms listed. Now, let's go through the key parts of the ship and some important terminology. First, the keel, or dai ton jua dai, is the main structural element running along the bottom of the hull, providing the ship's stability. The garboard strake, or dai ton sat lon gua dai, is the first or bottommost plank of the hull, and it's usually the most critical for strength. The vertical keel, known as tam song chin, is a vertical component that reinforces the hull. The keelson, or tam tren song chin, is a reinforcement of the keel, adding extra strength. The longitudinal girder, song dok dai, is a support running along the ship's length, while the main frame, dam gang dai duoi, refers to the principal structural beams. The reverse frame, dam ngang dai tren, supports the upper part of the hull. The double bottom, dai joy, is constructed with 2 layers for added protection. The centerline bulkhead, bach dok tam, is a dividing wall at the center, and a stiffener nep jia kwong is used to strengthen the structure. The armor deck, bung bao is made from reinforced materials for protection. A longitudinal bulkhead, vach dok, runs along the length of the ship, often separating compartments. The stringer or tie plate, song dok kua vak dok, ties different sections together, and the armor shelf, fan dok kung kua vo giap, is a protective shelf for the armor. The armor belt, which is tapered, is a reinforced section of plating that runs along the hull, while vertical armor, tam giap jung, is used for vertical protection. The sheer strake, dai ton mep man, is a plank along the sides, and sheer molding, man thuong lang, is a finishing piece on the sides. Hammock berthing, also man thuong lang, is where the crew hangs their hammocks. Molding, tam mep bung tren, refers to finished structural pieces on the upper deck. Lightning holes, logiam trong luong, are made to reduce weight in various parts. The wooden deck, bong lago, is the wooden surface on top of the hull. The super deck, bong thuong tang, is the uppermost deck, usually with the main structures. The skid beam, sa jia kuong, prevents sliding or movement, and the pillar or stanchion, kot chong, are vertical supports. The passage, han lang, is a walkway inside the ship, and the cofferdam, koang kach lai, is a watertight compartment for safety or isolation. The boiler engine compartment, buong noi hoi, houses the ship's boilers, while the coil bunker, ham than, stores coal for the boilers. The passway, loi ji, Han Lang, is a pathway for personnel, and the wing passage, Nep Vok Kem Men, runs along the sides. The angle clip, Nep Song Long, reinforces the angles in the structure, and the rabbet, Ran Song Mui Juk, is a groove for fitting parts together. The stern, Song Mui, is the rear part of the ship. The warping chalk, Lui John Dai Chang Buok, is used to secure ropes or cables. Deck plating, Ton Boong, is used on the decks, and the hawse pipe, Ong Luan Dai, is for anchor chains or ropes. Protective deck armor, Tam Giap Buong Bao Ve, adds extra protection to the deck. The breast hook, Suan Truok Buong Bao Ve Vung Mui, and breast hook flat, Suan Fang Duoi Buong Bao Ve Vung Mui, are both reinforcements for the bow area. Outside plating, Vong Guai, is the hull's external surface. The platform for steering, Vai Trichot Lai Chin, is where the steering mechanism is placed. There's also the shaft alley bulkhead, Vok Thon Truk, and the shaft lube, Ong Bao Truk Shin, for lubricating the shaft. The propeller shaft, Truk Shin, drives the propeller, while the rudder frame, Shuang Bon Lai, supports the rudder. The rudder pintle, Chot Bon Lai, is the pin that lets the rudder pivot, and the rudder hatch, Kuamo Bon Lai, gives access near the rudder. A self-balanced rudder, Bon Lai Tukan Bong, is designed to balance itself. The rudder post, Truk Bon Lai, is the vertical support for the rudder. So, this list outlines all the essential shipbuilding components, especially for military or battleships, focusing on the frame, the structure, and the protective elements that make these vessels so robust.